Who are the top 10 most influential women throughout history? Stay tuned to find out. Well, everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the top 10s in history. Today's video will be focusing on the top 10 most influential women throughout history. But before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'm actually really loving doing these videos. But yeah, this week's topic has been voted on. I put out there on my social media accounts which video you would like to see, and this was the winner. So this is what I thought I'd do. But originally when I was doing this, when I was putting in the AI and stuff, the top 10 most important women, there were coming up ladies like Sir Thatcher and Joan of Arc, for example, who very well are important, but they were coming up for like their controversy as well. So I'll probably do another video like the top 10 most controversial women throughout history, etc, etc. So what this video will be the top 10 most influential women in terms of like their importance for women, so what they've done for women, etc, etc. And again, folks, I'll stress this is according to AI. This is not necessarily my opinion. There's a few of these ladies I haven't heard of. Some of them I have. There would have been ladies I would have had in a top 10 for myself, but they never featured. And if you've seen the picture that I've got here, Audrey Hepburn, she's not in the top 10. I just included this wee picture and quote because I think it's a good quote for the overview of the video. But yeah, folks, without any further ado, let's get into it. In 10th place, we'll have Florence Nightingale. Who was Florence Nightingale? Well, she was born in Florence, Italy, to a wealthy British family. And Nightingale defied Victorian expectations of women by pursuing nursing. Known as the Lady with the Lamp, she earned fame during the Crimean War between 1853 and 1856. Why was she influential? Well, Nightingale arrived at the Scutari Military Hospital in 1854 to find appalling conditions such as overcrowding, filth, and rampant disease. She reduced the death rate from 42% to 2% by enforcing sanitation, ventilation, and nutrition standards. She later founded the Nightingale Training School for Nurses in 1860 at St Thomas's Hospital in London, professionalising nursing and making it a respectable career for women. Her statistical work, including the Rose diagram, pioneered data visualization in public health. That shows you how influential she actually was. In terms of her legacy, well, Nightingale's reforms saved millions by shaping modern healthcare systems worldwide. Hospitals still use to this very day her principles. For women, she transformed nursing from a low-status job into a highly skilled profession, opening career paths and challenging gender norms. Her writings, like Notes on Nursing, which was published in 1859, remain influential, and she's celebrated as a symbol of compassion and competence. So there you go, folks. In 10th place, we'll have Florence Nightingale. In 9th place, folks, we'll have Marie Curie. And Marie Curie, well, she was born Maria Sklodowska, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, in Warsaw, Poland. Curie moved to Paris to study at the Sorbonne, where she met Pierre Curie. A physicist and chemist, she overcame poverty and sexism to become a scientific giant. Why is she so influential? Well, Curie's research on radioactivity, a term she actually coined, led to the discovery of polonium, named for Poland, and radium, With Perry, she won the Nobel Peace Prize in Physics in 1903 for radiation studies, and alone the Nobel Prize in Chemistry 1911 for isolating radium. Her work enabled X-rays in cancer treatments, but she faced discrimination. For instance, she was denied access to the French Academy of Sciences due to her gender, for example. During World War I, she equipped mobile X-ray units, known as the Little Curies, to save soldiers' lives. So that shows you how influential Marie Curie was. In terms of her legacy, well, Curie's discoveries revolutionized science and medicine, impacting humanity through diagnostics and therapy. For women, her success, for instance, despite her exclusions, proved they could excel in male-dominated fields. She died of aplastic anemia from radiation exposure and was a martyr to her cause. Her daughter Irene also won a Nobel Prize, extending her legacy. So there you go, folks. In 9th place, we'll have Marie Curie. In 8th place, this is a lady famous for Irish history, we'll have Constance Markievicz. Who was Constance Markievicz? Well, Constance Markievicz, who was born Constance Gore Booth into an Anglo-Irish aristocratic family in London, rebelled against privilege to become a famous nationalist. Married to a Polish count, she settled in Dublin and embraced Irish culture. Why was she so influential? Well, Markievicz co-founded Fianna Éireann in 1909, a nationalist youth group, and fought in the 1916 Easter Rising as a sniper, earning a death sentence, which was later commuted due to her gender. She was elected to Parliament in 1918 as a Sinn Féin candidate, but she refused her seat, joining the first Dáil Éireann instead. As Minister of Labour between 1919 to 1922, she was Ireland's first female cabinet member, advocating workers' rights and suffrage alongside Irish independence. What's her legacy? Well, I think it speaks for itself. Her role in Ireland's fight for freedom helped secure the Irish Free State, benefiting humanity through self-determination. For women, she broke political barriers, inspiring female leaders like Ireland's later presidents. Buried in Glasnevin Cemetery, she is a feminist and revolutionary icon. So there you go, folks. In 8th place, we'll have Constance Markievicz. In 7th place, and this is a new one to me, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right, we'll have Sojourner Truth. Who was Sojourner Truth? Well, she was born Isabella Baumfree around 1797 in Swatkill, New York, into a harsh reality of slavery under Dutch settlers. One of 10 or 12 children, she was sold multiple times as a child, enduring beatings and abuse before escaping in 1826 with her infant daughter. Finding refuge with an abolitionist family who secured her freedom, she reinvented herself in 1843 as Sojourner Truth, inspired by a divine mission to travel and preach. Illiterate yet eloquent, she spoke Dutch before mastering English, and her deep faith drove her to join Methodist and Utopian communities while raising 5 children. Well, why is she influential? I think this speaks for itself. It's incredible. Sojourner's Truth influence soared with her unscripted "Ain't I a Woman" speech at the 1851 Women's Rights Convention in Ohio, where she challenged the exclusion of black women from equality debates with raw personal power, highlighting her labour and her strength as a woman. She made history in 1828 as the first black woman to win a lawsuit against a white man, reclaiming her son from illegal slavery in Alabama. During the Civil War, she recruited black troops. Met Abraham Lincoln, and fought for freed people's rights, even forcing streetcar desegregation. Her commanding presence and autobiography, The Narrative of Sojourner Truth, cemented her as a voice for justice. So there you go, folks. I think that was absolutely incredible, to be honest. Her legacy, well, again, I think it speaks for everything really. Sojourner Truth's legacy endures as a beacon for humanity and indeed for women. Her fight against slavery and racism helped to dismantle systematic oppression and inspire later civil rights leaders. For women, she broke ground by centering Black women's experiences, proving they could lead transformative change despite unimaginable odds. After her death in 1883 in Michigan, her impact actually grew, honored with the US Capitol statue, as you can see here, in 2009. She remains a towering symbol of courage, faith, and intersectional equality. So there you go, folks. In 7th place, we'll have Sojourner Truth. In 6th place, we'll have Queen Elizabeth I. Who was she? Well, born to Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn, Elizabeth ascended after surviving a tumultuous childhood, her mother's execution, imprisonment, and religious strife. She ruled England as a Protestant queen. Why was she so influential, and why did she make the list? Well, Elizabeth's 44-year reign defeated the Spanish Armada in 1588, securing England's independence, and fostered in the Elizabethan age. For instance, Shakespeare's plays, Drake's voyages, and economic growth. She navigated the Reformation chaos, balancing Catholic and Protestant factions, and rejected marriage to maintain sovereignty, a radical choice for this period in time. What's her legacy? Well, her rule made England a global power, benefiting humanity through cultural and naval advances. For women, her reign as an unmarried monarch proved they could govern alone, influencing perceptions of female authority. Whilst her 1601 golden speech has earned iconography endure, and she's endured over time as a legacy and an influential figure. So there you go, folks. In 6th place, we'll have Queen Elizabeth I. Now we're into the top 5. In 5th place, again, this was a bit of a new one to me, we'll have Eleanor Roosevelt. Who was Eleanor Roosevelt? Well, she was born into a prominent New York family. Roosevelt married Franklin D. Roosevelt and became the First Lady during the Great Depression and World War II. She was orphaned young and she found purpose in advocacy. Why was she so influential? Well, Roosevelt transformed the First Lady role. For instance, holding press conferences, writing a newspaper column, which was known as My Day, and pushing civil rights, women's equality, and refuge aid. As a UN delegate, she co-drafted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, which is now a global standard. She visited troops and slums, amplifying the marginalized. What is her legacy? Well, her human rights works benefits humanity by settling ethical norms. For women, she modeled activism and leadership, inspiring figures like Hillary Clinton and other prominent leaders as a female. Her tireless voice for justice earned her the title First Lady of the World. So there you go, folks. In 5th place, we'll have Eleanor Roosevelt. In 4th place, you'll know this lady if you know your British history, we'll have Emmeline Pankhurst. Who was she? Well, she was born in Manchester, England, to a politically active family. Pankhurst founded the Women's Social and Political Union in 1903 after her husband's death, and she was a fierce suffragette. Why was she so influential? Well, again, if you know your British history, you'll know most of this. Well, Pankhurst's deeds, not words motto led to militant tactics such as window smashing, hunger strikes, and arrests, pressurizing Parliament to pass the Representation of the People Act in 1918, granting some women the vote. Her daughters later joined the cause, enduring force feeding in prison, and she shifted from socialism to suffrage, broadening her impact. What's her legacy? Well, I think it speaks for itself. Her fate democratized Britain and inspired suffrage globally, benefiting humanity in general. For women, it secured political agency, influencing equality movements. And there's a statue in Manchester, it was erected in 2018, which honours her as a feminist pioneer. So there you go, folks. In fourth place, we'll have Emmeline Pankhurst. In third place, probably another name you've heard of here, we'll have Mary Wollstonecraft. Who was she? Well, she was born in London to a struggling family, but Wollstonecraft became a writer and thinker. She died after giving birth to Mary Shelley, who was actually the author of Frankenstein. Why was she so influential though? Well, her book Vindication of the Rights of Women, which was published in 1792, demanded women's education and equality, arguing they were rational beings, not ornaments. Written during the French Revolution, it critiqued patriarchy and influenced Enlightenment thought. She lived unconventionally, supporting herself and indeed her sisters. What's her legacy? Well, again, I think it speaks for itself. Her ideas advanced humanity by promoting universal equality. For women especially, she sparked feminism. Suffragettes like Pankhurst mentioned previously built on her work. Her radical life and writings remain touchstones for gender injustices over time and still to this day. So there you go, folks. In third place, we'll have Mary Wollstonecraft. In second place, we'll have Cleopatra VII. Who was she? Well, she was born Alexandria in Egypt to the Ptolemaic dynasty, and Cleopatra spoke multiple languages and ruled as the last active pharaoh, navigating Roman dominance. Why did she make this list and why is she so influential? Well, Cleopatra allied with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, bearing their children to secure Egypt's independence. Her navy fought at Actium 31 BCE, though she later lost to Octavian. Her charm and intellect preserved Egypt's culture and conquest, influencing Rome's eventual trajectory. What's her legacy? Well, her reign shaped Mediterranean history, benefiting humanity through cultural exchange. For women, she's an archetype of power and agency in a male-dominated world, and she is immortalized in Shakespeare and film, and although often romanticized. So there you go, folks. In second place, we'll have Cleopatra VII. And in first place, can anybody get it? It shouldn't really come as a shock, but when I seen it, it did come as a shock because I actually wasn't thinking of her. Well, in first place, we'll have Mary, Mother of Jesus. I'm sure you know who she is. Well, Mary was a woman from Nazareth, and she bore Jesus Christ, believed by Christians to be the Son of God. Little is known of her life beyond Scripture, but her role is clearly pivotal. Why is she clearly influential? Well, again, I think you don't need me to speak this because she clearly is. Her acceptance of the Annunciation and nurturing of Jesus birthed Christianity, spreading values of love and redemption to billions of people. Revered in the Gospels, for instance, her magnificent Luke chapter 1:46-55 voices justice. She bridges Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. What's her legacy? Well, I think it speaks for itself. Well, her influence on faith and culture transformed humanity to this very day. For instance, churches, art, culture, faith, etc., etc. And there's holidays that even bear her name. For women, her veneration as the Virgin Mary elevates motherhood and spirituality, inspiring countless female devotees. So there you go, folks. In first place, we'll have Mary, the mother of Jesus. So there you go, folks. That's the top 10 most influential women throughout history. Do you agree with the list? Do you disagree with the list? As I say, when I was originally doing this, when I was typing in top 10 most important women throughout history, it was coming up women who were quite controversial. Um, they may be important in their own right, don't get me wrong. But I'll probably do another video, probably most controversial, when these women will feature. But yeah, folks, thanks very much for voting this video in to be shown. I hope you enjoyed it. The other three that was bait in the voting, they will be coming in due course, so keep an eye out for them. But yeah, folks, thanks very much for joining in, and I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next episode.